ang language use ani?
Pwede naman Bisaya, English. 1.1, can you describe your overall experience as a college student assistant in managing both your academic responsibilities and work duties?
Mag-introduce pa first.
Okay lang,
Okay, dili. So, my overall experience and since I am in my first year of being a student assistant in the College of Law, at first kanang lisod jud siya i-manage, especially if you are in a newbie in the field, because kay mag-adjust pa man ka sa mga particular nga buhaton, like for example mga paperworks and such. And when it comes to managing both academic and being a student assistant, kay at first it's very hard jud to manage your time, kay mabaguhan man gud ka since wala siya sa lifestyle nimo before ba nga suddenly mag-shift ka, then mag-limit na ka sa imong mga time, dili na ka maka-practice, maka-hangout with friends, kay lagi occupied na ang imong time. So overall, at first it's very hard, but over time if you try to adjust yourself or fit yourself in the certain situation, kay ma-manage lang man din nimo, and then throughout the time kay naaray adjustment mahitabo sa imong kaugalingon.
What does a typical day look like for you as a student assistant?
Ano siya, very tiring, kay first kay mag-school ka, and then after kay kanang feeling good nga gusto na ka mo pahulay, and then kanang dili ka kapahulay kay lagi pag-abot nimo sa trabaho kay magtrabaho ka. And then in my field of being STA, kay the work is not just maglingkod lang ka, pero kailangan mo mag-entertain og student, mahurot jud imong social battery. So overall kay ang experience everyday kay imong normal day kay very tiring, kay from ACADS nya to shift to work, kay jud siya kanang maka-overwhelm and as well as makaubos og social battery.
Which responsibilities do you find most difficult to manage?
The very hard responsibility that I find it very difficult to manage kay kanang mag-entertain og mga student, and then mag-entertain sa lang mga inquiries, kay as a introvert person, it's very hard jud nga makig-engage ang mga student kay dili mo ka level, especially professionals na sila, and then ikaw undergrad pa. So ang gap sa inyo hang murag understanding and kanang murag like overall holistically understanding kay murag lahi. So it's very kanang murag crucial good as a STA nga mo fit sa ato nga kanang expectation nila mo, nang very hard kayo mag-entertain og kanang mga dili gud nimo ka level nya, makipagplastikan ka nga kanang murag light lang sa imo ang work nya, kailangan mo wag smile pero deep inside kay tired na kaayo ka.
Can you recall a time when academic and work demands overlap heavily?
Again?
Can you recall a time when academic and work demands overlap heavily?
Oo. Actually, since I am in my second year college pa, naa pa jud ko'y PE ana, and then it's kanang dara jud permi nga mag-conflict gud akong academic and as well as the STA time, kay supposed to be dapat na kay free time jud in your day kay para maka-practice ka, especially na kay mga sayo-sayo na buhaton sa PE, and then kanang dili man nimo ma-perform if final kung wala ka nag-practice. So mag-conflict jud perminti ang time. So kanang ang ginabuhat ako na way ana is kanang murag mag-skip sa work, mag-double work na lang, magbawion na lang ako ang work nako pagkaugma, or kanang mag-video na lang ko mo na ang pinaka kanang hard guys ako aron, kay kanang dili gud na ako ma-enjoy or dili na ako matagaan og time ang uban akong mga groupmates sa PE. So
How did you feel during that experience?
Siya kanang ulaw siya, at the same time kanang good ka duulon ka sa guiltiness, and kanang kaulaw nimo ba kay syempre ang imong mga uban classmate ana kay wala mga kabalo kung unsa pod ang ilang mga struggles in a day, tapos sila nakaadto sila sa practice, tapos ikaw wala, since kay hold occupied man ang imuhang time anak nga oras, so dili jud ka maadto niya, dili man pud ka makaingon sa imong supervisor nga, sir mag-practice ako kay ana dili ba kay STA is STA ba yan, na dili ka pwede mag-skip kay it's a work man, and then ang equivalent ana nga work kay imong tuition man, so dili lang jud dula.
How did this situation affect your performance as a student?
To be honest, before ko nag-enter STA, I was a dean's lister. Yeah, and then actually I wasn't only juggling with STA but as well as the work outside the school. So since nag-start ko og kanang murag juggling with 2 jobs with STA, kay natanggal ko sa dean's list, nako isa ka subject nga mo siya kanang murag mag-conflict ang time sa pagsulod na ko sa trabaho, and then kato siya nga first subject, mag-out ko sa work kay kanang murag ma-out good ko late, and then makasulod ko diri, syempre mag-travel pa ba ako, and then pag-abot na ko there kay late na ko. That's the reason why kanang nagbaba akong grade dito, so natanggal ko sa natanggal ko sa dean's list for this sem.
1.2, what challenges do you experience in managing your time between school requirements and assistantship duties?
Again?
What challenges do you experience in managing your time between school requirements and assistantship duties?
Actually, there's a lot of challenges when it comes to handling your academic works and then as well as your STA works. Kay, for example, maghatag imong prof og kanang deadline today, dili nimo na siya mabuhat. Ana na pagkagabi kay namang kay work niya. Dili man gud among office kay dili jud siya kanang maka-free time ka nya, nakay kanang privilege nga magbuhat sa imong mga academic task. Ang imo lang jung free time kay kanang pag-abot na nimo sa balay mo nang it's very hard. One of the challenges kay dili jud nimo ma kanang integrate good ang imong mga tawag ani imong mga academic, or di nimo buhat imong mga academic responsibilities in the span of kanang the whole day nimo sa school. Kay first time 4 hours nimo sa school kay naka sa classroom, and then another 4 hours kay naapog ka sa trabaho, so dili jud mag kanang collaborate ang imong time to kanang murag mag take time sa imong work as a student jud sa school.
Can you describe a situation when time pressure became overwhelming?
Again?
Can you describe a situation when time pressure became overwhelming?
Oo, natay kanang actually katong pinaka-pressure jud namo na time is katong first month or 2 na mo sa work, kay very overwhelming jud kay to siya, kay kanang syempre kanang we are new to the field, so kanang very kanang hard siya to handle ba niya, to the point nga kanang gusto na lang gud na muundang mag-STA, pero in exchange to that kay matanggalan sad mig scholarship, so ang pressure kay kanang mag-breakdown na mi, and then kanang murag dili na namo tungod sa kanang murag kanang pressure good kay malimtan na namo ang mga buhatonon sa school ana, kay murag the tiredness, the overwhelm, kay nagsagol na siya mo nang to the point na muundang na lang siguro kay para di na mag-work, di na eskwela, walay problema. So ana ang atake.
How do you decide which task to prioritize when deadlines conflict?
It's jud kanang very important jud para sa ko. I value myself as a student. So kung magka-conflict ang time, kay gina-instill jud ako sa akong utok nga academic first. Kay the reason why I entered into the world of STA, it's because of me as a student, me into the school. So it's very it's very set in my mind na kanang if ever may conflict man sa mga schoolworks and mga kailangan ako i-juggle in life, dapat mag-priority jud ang akong academics, kay kanang I do all these things, I do struggles because just because kanang gina-pursue na ako akong pag-eskwela, so academic first.
What academic tasks are usually affected by your work schedule?
Ayun, PE. PE is kanang ano jud top subject na mag-affect jud nga mag-conflict ako ang schedule sa academic ug sa STA works.
How do time constraints influence your stress levels?
Ano jud siya kanang maka-draining siya, tapos kanang to the point na before ka nag-enter into the field kay nakay gamay nga time management ba pag abot mo dito sa work kay tungod sa kanang very heavy ang work, not heavy as a physical pero heavy nga kanang murag dili siya ma-constrain sa imong mind mo anang ang time management jud nimo ang pinakauna nga maapektuhan once na naa ka sa kanang murag STA na field. Yeah.
How do you usually respond when you feel pressed for time?
Again,
How do you usually respond when you feel pressed for time?
pressed for time like
Pressed for time.
okay, like murag lacking sa times. Okay. I usually respond with pausing myself like kanang in between of my work and kanang my academic responsibility once na kanang murag feeling na ko kay kanang murag magkulang ko sa time if mo duty pa ko and then na ako'y deadline ani magkulang jud ko sa time, so ang akong ginabuhat ana kay para dili ko ma-stress ug pamaayo kay mag-pause ako and then mag-think ko dira pa nako siya dira pa ako maka-think properly pag mag-pause ko, and then if mag-pause ko kay maka-create na ko og solution. Sige nga na akong buhaton while nga wala pa yung mga needy entertain kay magbuhat sa akong academic task, so ana akong strategy.
1.3. How do your responsibilities as a student assistant affect your physical, emotional, and mental well-being?
At first kay ma-depress jud ka, ma-stress jud ka, ma-haggard jud ka. Yeah, to be honest, pero throughout the time when you adjust yourself in the situation kay kanang since na naman kay sense of adjustment sa imong situation, maka-feel na ka og kanang murag self kanang essence good nga kanang free ka kay na naman ka acceptance, na naman ka sa field. So i-embrace na lang nimo siya and then tanggapon nimo nga kanang mo dyan imong responsibilidad, kailangan nimo mag-adjust, adaptability. So once na ma-adapt na nimo imong situation, there na nimo ma-realize nga, oh, it's not that hard. Kailangan ra jud nimo og time management and self-discipline to manage everything in your life.
Can you describe how fatigue or stress shows up in your daily life?
Kanang mawad-an ka kanang focus academics. Since kulang imong tulog, tapos kanang murag overwork imong body, mawad-an ka og kanang control good or focus when it comes to academic, kanang dali ra ka ma-distract. For me, that's one of the very disturbing na natabo sa ako throughout the time kay because of the stress that I experienced kanang before kay murag kanang karon good kay murag kanang I struggle to stay focused on one task kay murag naanad ko ba nga gina-multitask na ko ang tanan niya. Karon nga naka-adjust na ko kay kanang murag kanang nakaset sa ko na kailangan ako mag-multitask para mahuman ako ni tanan niya. Murag ma-distract ka, mawala ka sa focus, imbes mag-focus ka, dili na noon kay kanang murag daghan man ka ginahon-hon na murag ma-disturbo man ka sa imong other responsibilities.
Have there been moments when exhaustion affected your motivation to study?
Oo. Actually, daghan na kayog times na kanang murag gusto na lang ko muundang ba kay kapoy na ka. So, pero yeah, over time kayo once na ma-adjust na nimo imong situation, ma-realize jud nimo na kanang there's always a brighter side and everything. So, kanang you just have to do your part and then the rest will rest to God. Ana is lang mindset.
How do you emotionally cope with pressure from both school and work?
Emotionally cope, I usually kanang talk to my friends, talk to my family, and then I also kanang take notes like journaling when wala ko yung mga kanang kastorya nga mga friends or mga kanang doon sa kuha kay mas effective sa kuha kanang mag-journal kanang if ever I feel stress in this moment kay ang makapakalma lang sa kuha kay kanang magsulat og notes, mag-journal sa akong feelings, so nga
Can you share an experience
Felt overwhelmed. Yeah, actually until now, kay ma-overwhelmed Japan ko sa akong work, especially if magsabay-sabay ang kanang academic o ang STA responsibility kay ma-overwhelmed jud ko to the point nga pagkaugma good kay di na ko katrabaho kay kalentura siya. Legit na ko experience gikantura ko pagkaugma kay ambot na kanang dili mo pa wala ko nakatulog paggabi ato nya pagkaugma kay ginahuna-huna na ko ang mga pa-stress ako kay syempre nagsabay-sabay yung niya wala ka kabalo asa imong hunahon pagkaugma kay tura siya.
How do these experiences influence your overall well-being?
These experiences I can say nga kanang siguro if wala ko nagsulod ang STA kay Merg dili na ko ma-train ang akong sarili to be kanang somehow independent God like kanang dili reliant sa laing tao. This experience really taught me nga kanang it's very hard to like murag naa kay sense of kanang God kanang awareness sa imong sarili nga dapat kung unsa to imong buhaton kay kanang ma-aware ka nga kung unsa imong abilities, capabilities kay at the end of the day kay imong sarili ra jud ang imong reliance. So kanang daghan kayo mga realization nga natabang ang kanang murag life na ko now sa kuha kay kanang with this kay kanang murag na open akong na widen akong understanding sa mga butang-butang dili na ko narrow thinker like dili na ko self-centered nga kanang pag naimalit sa akong kagrupo kay masuko dayon ko kay kasabot naman ko nga kanang majority of the students is dili lang school ang ginajuggle so napay mga work so dagan kayo realization nga gihatag ang akong experience now compared before.
1.4 In what ways have your academic performance and learning been affected by your role as a student assistant?
Kato na tanggal ka sa Dean's Lister and in my part it's very hard pero it's very hard to like accept God nga kanang you are once a academic achiever and then kanang sa diha kay natanggal lang ka katungod na anak kay trabaho maglisod na kag-juggle sa imong work and academic task. But over time, you will realize nga there's other more important things than your remarks sa school. Daghan pag-importante sa imong kanabuhi. And in the field, walay mo tan-aw sa imong grado but your ability and to handle your work in the field.
Can you describe a situation where your academic output was affected?
Oh, actually, a lot of time kay kanang pag naagoy ako before kay magbuhat ko sa akong mga task kay like gikan jud akong utok mind creation jud siya karon kay since I lack my time like kanang thinking kung unsa ang concept na akong dapat buhaton for the task kasi ChatGPT na akong ginapabuhat like easy life easy way ana jud.
Have you ever missed deadlines, classes, or activities because of work?
There's a lot of time na kanang especially sa mga deadline kay dili man gud na ako ma-check akong BBL basta naka sa work. So most of the time kay malate jud og pasa pero kanang maano naman nimo siya ma-adjust ra nimo siya and then ma-set up na sa imong hunahon nga o kailangan nimo mag kanang multi-think na dapat if naka sa work i-check nimo imong BBL kung nakay mga mo jud na ang lesson nga natudlo sa akong experience as a STA even though you are handling like stress at the moment kailangan jud nimo sad i-prioritize sa imong hunahuna nga napud kay other nga responsibility nga kailangan nimo siya i-monitor and such.
How did you feel when your academic expectations were not met?
Depressing siya and at the same time kay mulala imong self-doubt. Why? Because kanang mag-expect man gud ka sa imong sarili nga kanang especially if kanang you've been into a environment where naga-excel ka sa mga academics and then suddenly kay ang murag imong expectations pag-abot diri sa imong field nga nag-STA na ka kay dili na nimo ma-meet kanang due to busy dili na nimo siya maano so ang imong buhaton na lang jud kay acceptance na lang wala man tayong buhat.
What subject or academic tasks are most challenging to manage?
If if walay PE kay kanang mga major subject, kaya mong major subject as an social studies student kay it requires a lot of reading, and then if you don't have time to take like mag-read good kay kanang wala ka ma-answer sa oral, especially amo ang prof kay sa ang prof sa among ano kay kailangan jud pag musulod ka sa classroom kay naka-read jud ka, nakabasa jud ka, or else dili ka makatubag sa oral, and then mapakaulawan kasi mong partner. So kanang aside sa PE nga gina-juggle nimo nga lisod siya i-manage ang time, ang prof may ang kanang ano pud nimo kanang major subject kay since wala man kay time na magbasa na og mga pila ka history book para maano, so yeah.
How do you try to recover academically after such challenges?
Ano, ang overtime realization kay time management jud ug self-discipline jud dapat ang embody sa isa ka STA student to like fully accept your fate, and like kanang once magud ma-accept na nimo ang imong situation, and then maka feel na kag sense of accountability kay dira na mosulod sa imo nga kailangan nimo i-prioritize ang imong mga dapat i-prioritize.
1.5. How do you perceive the balance between the benefits and challenges of being a college student assistant?
Again,
How do you perceive the balance between the benefits and challenges of being a college student assistant?
what do you mean balance? Balancing.
Benefits sa challenges nimo nasa college.
Okay. Okay, the balance of having like experiencing sa STA sa akong life. Yeah, so kanang as I've said kanina, kanang apart from ga-struggle ka to manage your time with being an STA, naka-create sad siya sa imong sarili og kanang ano good, kanang murag tagaan ka og sense of responsibility or prioritizeness sa imong sarili, kay once na tagaan na kag workload sa Ginoo kay maka-feel na jud ka og kanang dapat accountable ko sa tanang mga responsibility na ko, and then dapat aware ko na ko self-awareness nga dapat mo niya kong buhaton kay kanang dili lang ko ga deal og isa ka butang sa kinabuhi, ga trabaho sad ko, so dapat jud kay tagaan nimo og kanang murag tagaan mong pansin ang uban nimo nga trabaho sad.
What benefits have you gained from being a student assistant?
Aside from like experience benefit, there's a lot of things that I learned, and kanang makuhaan gud na ko kanang murag kanang ano in the future kay I am exposed with a different professionals sa ako ang STA's field, na ay lawyers, na ay kanang teachers, accountants, and everything. And then I like the fact nga kanang murag kanang it's not just being an STA is so tiring, but kanang ang experience good nimo as an STA kay you are exposed with a different people, murag ma-widen ang imong knowledge, imong understanding nga dili jud ay gamay ang kalibutan.
Do these benefits overweigh the difficulties? Why or why not?
What?
Do these benefits overweigh the difficulties?
Yes, of course. Even though I am having a hard time, difficulties, overwhelmed sa akong trabaho kay matagaan man Japon ka og kanang murag kanang murag sense of accomplishment good basta buhaton nimo to siya nga mga butang kay wala lang man nimo na siya gibuhat for work, for experience man na, and that experience kay kanang maka-learn man pud ka, and then as a person dako jud kayo growth ang STA kanang especially if nisulod ka nga kanang murag completely blind sa imong palibot, and then once mosulod ka sa STA kay murag kanang ma-open ang imong mind. As for me, it serves as an eye opener ang STA kay daghan jud kaayog mga experience nga nagtudlo sa ako na kanang dili lang siya work, dili lang ko student assistant, but I am also here for experience in my future field.
How do these experiences shape your attitude toward your studies?
Even though I struggle much sa akong time, but over time naana ko kanang murag I've learned over time na it's very important to really manage your time so that wala kay ma-left behind good na mga workloads.
How has this role influenced your personal growth?
Actually, this role was a very influence, especially sa ako ang growth, kay there's so much kay there's so much learning in the field na kailangan nimo siya i-embody, so mo to. Yes, manam.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Would you choose to be a student assistant again? And why?
Of course, if in my another life, I would choose again and again being an STA because it brought so much growth in me, especially my experience and my understanding. It widened and it built me into the person who I am today.
2.1. What personal factors do you think contribute to the difficulties you experience as a student assistant?
Ano, it's a personality of handling, wait lang, gusto mo na ito. Okay.
2.1. What personal factors do you think contribute to the difficulties you experience as a student assistant?
Okay, as a person man God, there is a personality in me nga kanang to always look for the brighter side of the situation, God, mag optimistic side of me. Mo nang even though kanang how dark days it is, how struggling and kanang overwhelming it is, kay murag kanang if I took time to pause myself, like to realize there's always a kanang murag ginating ko nako nga kanang bisan pag unsa ka kanang murag ka ngit-ngit ni nga kanang murag experience nako, kay at the end of the day naadyo japoy hope, like murag hope and me good nga kanang ma-overcome ra nako ni there's always a side na kanang if I adjust myself, if I learn to grow, naadyoy benefit ko na makuha ani, and yeah, after teaching myself how to learn in the process, kay at the end of the process, kay the process is unending, but kanang murag kanang adapting the process is kanang dako jud siyang benefit sa growth as a person and in handling conflicts, such as my responsibility as a student and my responsibility as a working student.
How do your time management skills affect your responsibilities?
Actually, before I entered STA, wala jud ko a sense of time management, kay syempre nagsigil ko hida sa mong balay, miskin kay mag-study kay ginakram lang nako, but to the point na niabot ako sa time nga kanang I had to work, I had to think two priority, I had to prioritize two things, my academic and my STA responsibility, kay murag nag-sink in ako sa kong hunahuna ba nga kanang I'm not just a student, I'm also a working student, so if I won't make these things work, dili jud siya mag-work. So mo nang kanang I practice to actually dili job mo effective akong time management, but over time murag na kanang na-adapt na nako kung unsa ang kanang murag step by step na buhaton nako to learn to manage my time as a student and as a STA pod.
How do motivation, stress, or fatigue influence your performance?
Actually, when we say like stress, kay it's not an easy word jud to say, kay once nga maapektuhan na ka sa stress, kay maapektuhan sad ang imuhang kanang murag motivation nga mag-work nga moskwela, but it's not about being stressed, kay kanang pag ma-stress ka kanang you can always find a way to relieve the stress. Ang imo lang jud, ako lang usually ginabuhat nga basta ma-feel na ako na overwhelmed na kayo ko, and then kanang mura ginasagpa na ko sa kanang more responsibility na stress na kayo ko, kay dili jud na ako makalimtan nga kanang murag mag me time God, bahala na drang mga responsibility, basta self first. Kailangan jud nimo, this is my advice no as an STA, just from my experience na you you can't handle juggling different work in your studies if you don't prioritize yourself. Dapat yun, health is wealth, and then you have to prioritize, you have to protect yourself from all. Kay if wala kay strength sa imong sarili, dili pud ka makahandle og dili ka makathink properly on how to execute all your tasks and everything.
Can you share a personal habit that makes balancing tasks easier or harder?
I have this habit na kanang everything nga naay task, no, mga work, kailangan ako mga workloads to do. Kaya always take a list kung unsa ang pinaka-importante mo, ito ang pinakauna na akong buhaton, kung unsa itong pinakalisod o pinakasayon mo ito akong i-prioritize. So, mana akong habit nga kanang naka-help jud sa ako nga to kanang dili ko na ako, wala gud ko'y butang na ma-left behind, to stay tuned sa ako ang goal is mag-take note, mag-take list sa akong mga priorities and such.
How do you handle pressure when expectations increase?
I handle pressure with kanang murag me time or taking note, taking journals, watching movies, murag makapa-cool down mo gud na sa imong sarili. Once you're under pressure, dili jud ka maka-function properly, but if you take your time to feel the moment, feel the freedom you have, kanang iposa nimo ang kanang murag say tawag ani iposa nimo ang imuhang kanang gina-think good berme nga, oh, I have this responsibilities. If you think just clear and kanang having a kanang me time or mag-self-reflect ka, nya kailangan nimo enjoy ang at least isa ka adlaw lang nga murag i-erase nimo sa imong hunahuna nga kanang walay STA, walay academic responsibility, just you being you sa inyong balay, kay buhaton nimo tanan gusto nimo in that, kay kanang maana siya ang naka-help sa ako to ease pressure, and then afterwards kay resume my usual routine.
How confident are you in your ability to manage these challenges?
I'm not that really confident, kay I sometimes I overlap, pero I can say that if I compare myself this version to my old version 1, I can say that I gain a lot of growth. I gain a lot of kind of perspective. I gain a lot of things that could benefit not just me, but kanang something that I can influence to the people around me. Good. Yeah.
2.2. What academic factors contribute to the challenges you face in managing your responsibilities?
Again.
What academic factors contribute to the challenges you face in managing your responsibilities?
Okay, so one of academic factor that contribute to
the challenges you face.
Challenges to face in my
managing your responsibilities.
Okay, in my managing my responsibility. Okay, so daghan man mig mga courses no nga kanang talks about self-discipline, especially GE1, which is basta about self. Understanding the self. When you go through that subject, it's very hard to it's very hard at the same time to read the book, and then kailangan pa man ako ni basahon nga kanang after 20 years of my existence, wala pa na ako nila nimo akong sarili. But if you really took it into heart, ma-realize nimo over time nga, wala pa jud ka kabalo kung unsa jud ang tinuod nga ikaw. Mo nang that one academic benefit that benefited me in my growth over time and handling myself, because it gives you an awareness man good kung unsa imong kaya buhaton, unsa ang dili nimo kaya buhaton, ug unsa pa ang something sa imong sarili nga ma-discover nimo throughout that time. So it really helps you as a person, not just kanang mag-clout lang ka, but it really helps you in the deeper way nga kanang you have to understand yourself first before you take responsibilities.
How does your academic workload affect your work performance?
Usually pag mas stress ko, kay kay stress pod ang kay not that good akong performance. Let's say for example, naami kanang murag case analysis, and then pag ma-stress ko kay I can't think directly, I can't think focus manggod pag kay dagan sa akong hunang-huna. That's one of the factor nga kanang ga-contribute good sa akong mga lapses and shortcomings sa academics pag stress ko due to work and academic responsibilities.
Are there specific subjects or requirements that increase your stress?
Yes, of course, especially major subject that it really our major subjects really requires our time, our like wider understanding to the human being and as well as the society. Kay we are in the major of social studies magod, so we have to understand how human beings shape, how the society shape, and kanang how the world evolved from prehistory to the current world. So you can just learn that thing in one day. Kailangan jud nimo og kanang a lot of time to kanang mag-think, magbasa, and dili ba lalim no na kanang mag-study ka and you have only 2 hours in a day. So yeah, what siya.
How do academic deadlines influence your emotional state?
Pag maka-pressure jud ang academic deadline, especially if wala kay you don't have plenty of time to work that specific project, and then especially pag kanang namagod mi prof nga pag gabi man akong shift sa work no, nya pag gabi kay 9 PM na siya mag-upload og quiz, and then pagka 11 PM kay deadline. So ako kanang ga-juggle pa ko sa akong work, tapos kailangan pa ko mag-think sa quiz. Mas stress jud ko dili ko mag-function sa work na mo magkabuhol-buhol gud akong work, magkamali-mali. So with that experience was before, so kanang karon kay kanang na learn manggod nako na kung how to balance things. Kay if you do not learn how to balance your academic and your STA responsibilities, na pag-undang na lang jud kay ma-depress jud ka.
How do group projects or academic collaborations affect your schedule?
As what I've said earlier, na sa PE kay PE manggod ang daghan ga-require jud sa imong time, and then maggrupo-grupo mo. Usually kay kanang dili jud ko makaka-attend yan. And ang very ano pa jud na sad part kay usually ako ma-leader. Siyempre kay bida cha. And then leader ko baga kay kagnang ba, leader kanya kanang tagsa lang ka maka-attend sa ano. Pero kanang gina-try man po na ako understand ang situation sa akong mga kagrupo. So kanang mag-isip pud ka ba nga kanang since dili man nimo mahatag imong presence there physically, why not make tag alternative way to work our project, like mangita tag alternative nga kanang murag ma-work on gud nato atong project without disturbing our personal life, personal responsibilities.
How do instructors' expectations impact in your ability to cope?
Actually naami instructor ba na kanang kabalo man siya nga Dean's Lister me before, and then siya man gud nag-announce sa Dean's Lister me, and then kanang since na murag nasulod ko sa Dean's Lister kay murag kanang permi na niya ginakota gud kanang taas kay siya expectation Dean's Lister mo. It's not that easy to like excel in college life ba, so feeling ko ga-expect jud siya sa mo and then naay ka ng mga times nga if dili may makatubag kay murag maano siya kanang ma-disappoint siya, and it's very kanang hurtful sa mong part manggod kay syempre kanang you as a student, you're just doing your part nya dili man pud mo wala man kayo, you don't have all the freedom to like study and then study and then study, and then makaano lang siya, maka-disappoint po siya at the same time kay kanang prof man anta sila but they don't know how to understand, they put pressure above you but without even knowing your experience, your struggles. So yeah.
2.3, what forms of support help you manage your academic and work responsibilities?
I like this question. My one and only foundation, Judas, is very redundant, but God. I cannot do all these things without his guidance, without his power who strengthen me. Kay if ako lang siguro ni wala ko nag-realize na murag nagdugay ra guro ko nagundang, but because of all my prayers nga gidungog niya, and being at a stay is my dream, and I believe that nga gi-pray jud nako na siya. So while ga-struggle ko, ga-pray pud ko sa iyaha na to strengthen me, to give me all the courage and wisdom that nga kanang ma-understand ako tanan sa akong palibot, and mo ta makaka-help po siya kalma even though how overwhelming it is to be standing in between sa imong studies and imong work responsibility. But if you think that everything that happened to you kay naay rason, and then that reason will make you improve, will give you growth in the future, then kaya na ko i-endure tanan challenges.
Have you received support from supervisors or instructors?
Yes, actually my supervisor is very important. It's just that I know it's very supportive. It's just that ang workload lang jud namo ang pinakano, but kanang if naa siya time nga ihatag sa mo na mag-rest, ihatag dyan niya mo anang kanang it's very helpful pud sa ako ang part nga kanang murag somehow good, dili siya strict, supportive siya kay makasabot mo gud siya sa imong situation, and then it motivates me, it gives me kanang motivation good nga kanang there's a lot of people who supports you mo anang kanang all you have to do is kanang murag to continue, and then kanang endure all these struggles and then continue, because especially if mapalibutan ka og mga supportive nga tao sa imong kinabuhi, even though how stressful your life is, may maging bearable jud na siya with all the people who supports you throughout your journey.
Can you describe a time when support helped you grow better?
Actually, my daily life, I can say my daily life kanang gakup ko in my daily life kay everyday man pod mas stress man pod ko, but everyday pod there is always is a kanang part sa amo nga kanang mag-take time jud mi nga kanang mag-rest, mag-think of freedom, but mo na siya ang pinaka-important jud, especially if you are juggling with a lot of works and then kanang imong academics. It's always to think yourself, always to think na kanang makahulat ang tanang butang, kanang you just have to pause lang jud, and then continue kay there's a lot of people who supports you. You just have to believe in yourself nga makaya nimo na siya, and then if you set in your mind nga makaya nimo siya, then all of the support around you kay maga-encourage maguna siya sa imuha nga kanang even though how down you are, pero basta mapalibutan kag mga supportive people, matagahan man gud kag sense of kanang motivation god nga if they believe in me, nganong dili na ko kaya kanang mapagkatiwala na akong sarili. So kanang kailangan lang jud nako a little push and a little trust, kay sometimes man god kanang dili kaya i-handle sa isa ka tawo yang sarili mo, nang it's very important to kanang for you to be surrounded by good people and very supportive people.
How important is understanding and flexibility from your supervisors?
It's very important kay once man good basta imong supervisor kay strict, maka-stress pud na siya kay murag ginahinder kaniya nga kanang murag mga kanang buhaton ang imong dapat buhaton, and then maka-stress, ma-pressure pud ka kay strict kay siya. Pero once na imong supervisor is understanding, kay murag matagan kanyang sense of comfortability sa imong work environment, kay since supportive man siya, so you don't have to worry about what they think, what your supervisor think, kay nga kanang all he do is to support and guides you in your workplace.
Do you seek help from your fellow student assistants or classmates?
Yes, of course. Actually, kanang daghan man mong stay sa among room, no, and then kami ra sad magtinabangay if ever na ami kanang conflict sa amo ang STA work, kami ra sad ang magtinabangay manang kanang it's very important kana kay mga tao nga maduulan, especially of times of crisis sa imong work, kay naa kay makaramay.
of support do you think is still lacking?
I think support from my family. Yeah, because to be honest, I am a self-support student, so wala joy ka ng kuan. It's different man good if there's your family is like openly supporting you kay kanang more feeling nimo even though how hard it is to to go over in that situation, basta kabalo lang ka nga na ay nakay support system and it's your family kay marag feeling nimo kay tanan, but kanang the support nga wala ikaw lang imong sarili and then wala imong family kay marag kanang siya kanang it's way further than all the people like kanang na-enjoy kanang family nga willing to support their siguro sa ako as a student and a working student kay I think the lacking part of me nga kailangan ako jud og support kay the support that comings from my family.
2.4, what strategies or coping mechanisms have you developed to handle your responsibilities effectively?
Yeah, note taking, checklist, and then prioritizing what is kanang very important to do and the list and the hard way and the easiest way.
Can you describe specific strategies you use to manage your time and stress?
Since we are all in a digital world, akong cellphone puno na siya scheduling your time nya. Butang mo sa mga lock screen, maka-help jud siya nga, especially ako mali kay kalimtanon kay ko nya. Sige man pugog cellphone sa kaunaw nasa cellphone, so gihimo na kong way akong cellphone as a model good nga kanang instead of malimtan ako siya, di na ako siya tignot, gabuhat ko kanang mga schedule, ang mga calendar kanay mga schedule para mag-remind sa ako ang so yeah, scheduling, note taking and checklist jud ang nakapa-help sa ako.
How do you adjust your routines during busy academic periods?
Actually, prioritizing jud kung unsa ang dapat i-prioritize kay para ma-handle nimo ang uban efficiently. Kay if you don't prioritize things and then mag-handle lang ka, magkabangbuang ka og unsa imong unahon, ma-stress kag samot. So it's better in my way nga i-prioritize ang dapat ang unag deadline, ang pinakasayon kay once makasugod man gud ko og kanang like buhat sa trabaho on mag-continue na siya, pero pag dili pud nako siya buhat mag-continue ra pud na siya nga di mabuhat.
Which strategies work best for you and why?
In what kind of strategies? Like handling my okay. So yeah, as I've said earlier, note taking and then scheduling and then as well as praying.
Have there been strategies that work for you or what happened?
Didn't work?
Yeah.
Actually, there's a lot of strategies that I tried before I find the one that really works for me. And then that strategies is kanang unsay tawag ani good, kanang sabay-sabay yun tanan. I thought man good before na if i-multitask nimo ang mga butang-butang dali na siya mahuman. So that's the first strategy that I tried, and then wala siya nag-work for me kay kanang wala dili jud kaya sa atong brain cells na mag-work double time.
How do you know when a strategy is effective?
A strategy is effective for me when I see growth in it, when I see myself growing, when I see myself adapting. Once a strategy that works for me kanang murag it lightens my workloads and it becomes easier for me to handle my work.
2.5, how have these experiences influenced your confidence, resilience, and outlook as a student assistant?
Actually, it's a big impact in my overall well-being. Kaya ang akong experience, it taught me a lot. My mistakes, my achievements, all it combined. Kay nakahelp jud siya nga kanang to grow, and then as I grow kanang maboost pud akong confident ba nga kanang naana ko'y kanang murag self, somehow I know how to manage myself. I know where my weaknesses is, where how to work on it, and then kanang what is my strength, unsa ang kaya nako buhaton, unsa ang dili nako kaya buhaton. And it somehow gives me a kanang murag a proud good ko sa akong sarili kay kanang with that kay at first I would never survive in that situation, but with all the support, with all the process that I take, and with all the strategies that did work for me, kinakahelp siya sa akong growth. And I am very confident to say that with that experience kay kanang it impacted me, not just me by myself but by whole well-being.
How confident are you now compared to when you first became a student assistant?
If I rate it from 1 to 10, my confidence is 8, and then my confidence before that I started is murag 2. So you can see that there's a lot of big changes in my self-esteem and how I see myself, how I see everyone that surrounds me, and kanang ano lang siya, makahatag lang siya sa imo og kanang murag self-satisfactory ba nga kanang you never thought that you would take growth in that certain thing that abi nimo before nga kanang it's burden for you.
How have these challenges shaped your resilience?
This resilience must embodied in every student's before man good kay kanang dili jud nako kaya mag-multitask, dili ko optimistic sa una jud, kung down jud ko, but this experience has taught me and like shaped me and molded me into someone nga kanang who have to be resilient in all things, be optimistic in all things and all time. Kay once nga kanang down moment ka, and then you let yourself in that ocean to drown, kay malunod pud ka, and then wala kay achievement ka matabo sa imong kinabuhi. And being resilient as a student and as a student assistant can help you to achieve all your goals, and then discipline yourself and manage all your time.
What lessons have you learned from balancing work and academics?
The lesson that I learned from balancing my academics and my duties, responsibility, it's kanang wala lang nagatuyok ang imuhang kinabuhi og being a student, and you can grow into someone that you wanted if you don't try to explore in different ways. You can grow if you only walk straight in your life, but you have to take a risk in everything, so that at the end of the day kay murag nakay somehow self-growth na makuha in that risk. Kay if you stay in your comfort zone, if you don't step out in that comfort zone, over time wala kay improvement na makuha sa imong sarili, but only self-isolation.
How do these experiences affect your future academic or career plans?
I'm really happy with my progress as a student and as a STA, because I really believe that when I am in the field jud of teaching, kay makabalo na jud ko na kanang I know how to handle people, I know how to interact, I know where and how to influence people, and with my exposure with a lot of professional right now could really push me to the point good na kanang there's a lot of perspective in your life, and you have to be stand in between, and take all that perspective in a positive way, so that in the future kay pag-abot nimo didto you will excel in your work.
Lastly, what advice would you give to the future student assistants?
I like this question. The advice that I could give to the future student assistant is to have a courage before entering the STA world. You have to be courageous person. You have to believe in yourself, because trust me, kay pinakauna pa lang jud nimo ma-realize nga dapat undang na lang ko, wala na lang ko ni sulod diri. Regrets jud una, especially if ma-assign ka sa mga kanang mga hard loads nga mga STAs, ma-realize yun mo dira nga muundang na lang ko. But one thing that I can say is that it's not a long-term process nga mag-struggle ka. It's only in the beginning because you are still adjusting. Pero once you get to the point na you adjust, you already adjust and you already adapt to the environment where you were in, trust me, there's a lot of experience and growth that you will take from your experiences, and that experiences would really help you to grow, to improve, and to be the person that you want to become in the future. Because if tagaan man gud kag challenges sa Ginoo, and then kanang you take the challenges as a responsibility, and if mahirapan na ka ang responsibility kay mo give up na ka, then you are not fit to become STA. You have to be a person with a confident to her or himself, kay confidence would really bring you to the point nga kanang even how overwhelming it is, kay na-adjure kay self-belief nga over time you will be able to overcome, and you will be able to reach into that brighter side nga makaingon ka sa imong sarili nga tama akong desisyon nga nung nag-STA ko, tama akong desisyon nga wala ako nag-give up, because all the experiences, all the struggles kay na-learn nimo siya throughout that experience, and you become the person that you wanted to be.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.